Welcome, race fans, to etvlive-eplay.net, streaming live to you tonight from Kentucky Speedway with the thrill of a thrill, Real Sim Racing Full Throttle Cup Series. Tonight in the booth with me, Dakota Ehrman on pit road, Joshua Harbison and Matt Close. Dakota, tonight's Kentucky, the mile and a half or the 1,600-foot long backstretch, and things are shaping up here at Chase Race number 6.
Yeah, Kentucky is always interesting to go to. There are so many bumps on the track. It's just very, very unique in how old the surface is. It usually creates good racing and a lot of wrecks, so that's something to watch out for tonight, Keaton.
Absolutely, and last week, speaking of wrecks, Dakota, man, what a heartbreaker for Landon Huffman, finishing 25th at Charlotte. Man, tough break for him. So Huffman lost a little bit in the points, but continuing on down last week's results, race winner Guy Snyder picking up the victory, and C.J. Lavere coming in a fashionable second place.
I believe Guy Snyder works with Chad Cole. Chad Cole actually finishing fifth, who was running second in points, but Ed Williams Jr. bringing home third, and Chad Schilling fourth. And as I did mention, Chad Cole in fifth.
Ed Williams Jr., of course, running the ETV Live logo Chevrolet. Look for him tonight. And in sixth last week at Charlotte, Rick Fouts brought that Chevrolet home in a good spot. And Doug Roth, who runs the STP Old School Richard Petty Paint Scheme, finished seventh. Nathan Bowers, eighth. John Milwane picking up one of his top tens of the season, finishing ninth. And White Wolf Jr., hey, how about a run for him? He's out of the chase here, but White Wolf Jr. picking up 10th spot last week, Dakota, at Charlotte.
Yeah, and moving on to the points, that like I said, Landon Huffman losing quite a bit of points. I believe he lost around 20. But Chad Cole is still only 28 points back in second after finishing fifth last week, and Guy Snyder still sitting third, 33 points out of the lead.
And R.J. Williams, also another heartbreak for him, 15th last week at Charlotte, and that set him back even further behind in points. He's sitting fourth, though, 49 back. Not out of the chase, I don't think, just yet, but he's getting on that bubble. And Joseph Hayes finishing 17th. That didn't help him in his points race either, sitting fifth in points. And sixth is John Abbott, the man who runs RSR. He finished 20th last week at Charlotte, and he sits 75 points behind your leader, Huffman.
And after finishing 18th last week, still sitting 7th in points, Jay Horton, 76 points out of the lead, 1 point behind John Abbott. And in, I believe, in 8th position, Adam Roberts, who finished 23rd last week. A lot of front guys in the points actually finishing towards the rear of the field last week, it seems. But he's 100 points out of the lead, tied with Doug Roth as well for ninth.
Absolutely, and Eric Arnold sitting 10th in the point standings as well. Don't think he's got a shot at making it back into this thing. I think 8th to 10th, Dakota, pretty much Adam Roberts, Doug Roth, Eric, pretty much out of this thing. But I'm going to tell you something. 3 guys out of the top 10 that we just mentioned, Chad Cole, Guy Snyder, and Doug Roth, finishing in the top 10. Everybody else, heartbreakers. Heartbreak Hotel, if you want to call it that, in Charlotte last week. But Kentucky, let's go to Matt on pit road here at Kentucky. Matt, tell us about what kind of fuel these guys looking at, the strategy on the tires, and what kind of issues these guys are going to be facing.
Well, Keaton, to some of these drivers for the race, guys like Chad Cole and Huffle, saying about 60 to 65 laps here on a tank of gas, depending how hard you're really pushing it going into these turns. Also, they're talking about tire wear, but not like we usually see the right front going down, but here they're worried about that right rear sliding out on them. As Dakota mentioned earlier, Keaton, this track's very big. It gets these cars very loose, especially right around that bottom line. Going through turn 2, that's where we'll expect to see most of these cars probably get loose tonight. Coming up off the turn as they're powering out, and they're saying probably about lap 50 to 55, the cars almost become uncontrolled loose. So they're saying for many of the unexperienced guys, will be looking for around probably lap 45 to 55, where they're going to be spinning to cause a caution. Back up to you guys in the booth.
Yeah, and also, too, this thing, Dakota, being 110 laps, you got to think, you want to stretch that fuel mileage out to the 60s. That way, if you only have to pit once, there's only one, that you pit under the green, you want to try to only pit one time. That way, if it stays green the rest of the way after you pit, you've got enough fuel to make it.
Yeah, for sure. And Kentucky is, I don't know, you said Charlotte was a heartbreaker last week. Heartbreak Hotel, as you call it. Kentucky can be the same way, especially with that fuel mileage. You have to go to at least lap 56 to be able to make it on fuel, because lap 56 plus 56 should be about 110 around there. So that should be where they get on fuel. So somewhere around the 60s, like you said. This can be a really, really, really tight racetrack to race on, though. That's what I'm excited to see here later on.
Yeah, absolutely, and hopefully these guys can work both grooves here at Kentucky. Like I said, it's a 1.5-mile racetrack. Plenty of room to race here at Kentucky Speedway. Also want to make mention Adam Roberts. Look for that double 88 car out here tonight. We got something special lined up with him. Be fun segment with him. And tonight's race at Real Sim Racing Full Throttle Cup Series, brought to you and sponsored by Bob Earl Racing. You can pick up one of his seats, fully custom built seat, adjustable racing seat and frame. It also comes with a monitor stand, shifter mount. All that sold separately, but you can get it under $349 with shipping at BobEarlRacing.com. And that's what these guys are fighting here for tonight. Dakota's Chase Race 4 after this, 4 to go. And these guys are all wanting that seat. And right now, it looks like Landon Huffman, who's sitting on the pole for this thing, spoiler alert, is looking good to winning that thing.
Yeah, but remember who is in second, also second in points. He's so far sitting second on the grid, Chad Cole.
There you have it, folks. The spoiler alert, the starting lineup, the first two, the first row, Landon Huffman and Chad Cole. And when we return to Real Sim Racing, we'll see the engines fire up and this green flag get underway at Kentucky Speedway after the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Hey race fans, welcome back to ETV Live. Just starting to get these cars out on the grid here, Dakota, for Kentucky. Hey, if you're watching right now, don't forget, when you go to the etv-eplay.net website, look at the top. You'll see a link that says Full Throttle Cup Series High Resolution or Low Resolution. Click that High Resolution, and it'll take you to another page where you can see the broadcast a little bit better, and it's kind of like a Real Sim Racing homepage, if you will. And also too, we got a chat room. Click here to interact with the chat room. Get in there, look at live stats, ask questions. We got some people in there that'll try to help you out with getting your questions answered. And Dakota, as we mentioned before the break, Landon Huffman on the pole. Outside him in the 17 DeWalt Ford, Chad Cole.
And another big thing about Landon Huffman is he made pros. So Landon Huffman will be actually in an ETV broadcast in a few weeks in the Pro Series. But Rick Fouts is in third, and outside of him, Dwayne Vincent in the 13 machine.
Starting in fifth, R.J. Williams looking for a good night here tonight. And John Abbott, how about that? Qualified sixth tonight. Good time for him. He starts in the row number 3.
R.C. Rigdon starting 7th, and Cale Dresbach starting 8th.
C.J. LeVere, who comes home from Charlotte last week with a good top 5 victory, 2nd. He starts 9th tonight, and outside him, the number 16 Chevrolet of Steve Ritter.
Starting in 11th position, Ronnie Watson, the 2 machine. Outside of him, Glenn Campbell.
In 13th, rolling off in the 91 car, Steve Gottschalk. Outside him in the 83 car at Jay Horton.
Starting 15th, in the 85 machine, Nathan Bowers. On the outside of him, in the 97 machine, Nathan Little.
Guy Snyder picking up the victory last week at Charlotte, starting 17th tonight at Kentucky, and to his right, J. Randall Watkins.
And in the next row, we have David Lands in the 33 and Jose Gonzalez in the number 11.
Yeah, and of course, Dakota, Jose Gonzalez making his first appearance with RSR last week at Charlotte, putting on a decent show. He starts 20th, as you mentioned, and to the 21st spot, 9 car, Scott Brotherton, and outside him, Keith Brooks Jr.
Starting in 23rd, Michael Gray, and on the outside of him in the 88, Adam Roberts.
And the 26 car, Jonathan Cadell, outside him, Brian Harvey.
Starting 27th, Ed Williams Jr. taking the last guy taking time leading out the field without a time, Brian Harford in the number 01.
Rich Jett rolls off 29th. White Wolf Jr. beside him at 30th.
And then rounding out your field, Joseph Hayes, Patrick Cahy, Douglas Wyatt, John Milwane, White Wolf, Justin M. Wilson, and Stephen Herring.
So it looks like 37 cars taking the field here tonight, Dakota, at Kentucky Motor Speedway. I believe we got Keith Brooks Jr. starting from the pits, but pace cars down on pit road, and this thing's about to take the green at Kentucky. 110 laps. Landon Huffman, green flag.
Landon Huffman getting a decent start there, but not quite able to pull Chad Cole quite yet. Looks like he might be able to, nope, not quite able to clear him. And the tricky part about this track is that the low line can be really, really slick, and when you go out where Chad Cole is, you can see where the groove's a little bit darker, and it's just a little bit more stable up here, but not as quick.
Excellent start for the tonight's event. Looking back here in 3rd position, Rick Fouts and Dwayne Vincent, the number 13, side by side, and behind those 2 guys, the 21 and 19 of R.C. Rigdon, who's in 5th, also 2x2. So first lap complete, no caution, green flag, Dakota in 1.
John Abbott, who I believe started towards the front. Let me look here. He started 6th all the way back up quite a few spots. I saw him go way to the outside, so John Abbott may be in trouble really, really early here.
And just ahead of John Abbott, caution on the speedway at Kentucky. First time, big wreck on the backstretch. Looks like the number 11 machine, Jose Gonzalez, in 24th position. Actually, it happened right ahead of him as I go and look at my rewind machine. The 23 position car of 26 of Jonathan Cadell getting in with the number 3 of J. Randall Watkins, Dakota.
Yeah, that does not look good. As it looks like the 3 of J. Randall Watkins dives down the corner, and I'm not sure, there was a stack up in the car above and came down just a little bit and flipped just a little bit there.
Yeah, actually, taking it back a little bit further, the 66 machine of Michael Gray running 21st, he might have gave the 3 just a little pinch there, and they touched, and that was it. 26 of Jonathan Cadell's machine had nowhere to go, Dakota.
I was about to say, as they were wrecking back there, I think they were wrecking even further back behind that, trying to avoid the wreck there.
And looking at the ETV E-Wine there, you see the big wreck that's happening and unfolding. And here we are again. We're going to get this back under caution here again. The first caution of the night, though, Dakota, at Kentucky. And you said it. I mean, Kentucky's one of those tracks. I don't believe the leader's coming up pit road, but I believe, Kentucky's one of those tracks where there's plenty of room to go 3 wide, 2 wide, and you can see this replay right there. J. Randall Watkins just hitting Michael Gray, then coming down on Cadell, and a host of other cars just piling in. Kentucky's such a fast speedway. The 3 machine outside turn 2 wall there hits hard, and the 0-1 there you see in the middle mid-screen hitting the 3 again. Man, I tell you, J. Randall Watkins is going to have a hard race car to fix, and the 11 getting involved there. So big wreck early on here at Kentucky.
No, that's a big problem with Kentucky. With the surface being as old as it is and as bumpy as it is, it's very hard to get around and very tricky, especially with traffic. I think, like you said, there's plenty of room for 2, 3 wide, what kind of racing you want to do, but it's not always possible when you're just by side and hitting a bump or something, losing control, especially with car setups. It can be very, very difficult here.
Matt, looked like a couple of cars came down pit road. Leaders staying on the track, and but Nathan Little, John Milwane, some of them guys down there, Jonathan Goodell, pit crews hard at work here. Matt, what kind of information can you give us about the damage here at Kentucky? How important is a little bit of damage, minor damage, or heavy damage here at Kentucky?
Well, Keaton, under that last wreck, we saw a couple cars take some heavy damage under that wreck, and we saw some cars get T-boned and everything. It's going to be a lot of work pulling out the fenders for these guys, and the damage here is really going to amount to a lot. They're going to either have to deal with a tight condition now or an increased loose condition like what we talked about earlier. These cars already being way loose on this track. For them to have their toe knocked out and possibly even looser is just crazy and mind-boggling for these drivers. But also the speeds. These cars are hitting like 180, 190, probably almost 200 going into the turn, and these cars with aero damage, they're just not going to be able to hit speeds like that. It's going to cost them a lot of time on the straightaways. And Josh, do you have any more information that you might know for some of these cars that have damage? Oh. Alright, back up to you guys, Keaton.
Thanks, Matt. And I want to ask you one more question. You know, Matt, on these cars with the tire situation here, you notice the leaders did not come down pit road. We're only 5 laps into this thing, and but you mentioned the difference between tire laps and fuel laps. Fuel laps is about 63. The tire laps is 50. What kind of ideas can you give us about what some of these guys are going to do? Are they going to try to get those extra 13 laps for the fuel run, or are they going to try to pit on lap 50?
We're definitely going to see a lot of people come down for those extra 13 laps, probably trying to push the fuel as far as they can and get to that halfway point. At least lap 55, they're going to come down. That's splitting this race 50-50. But I would think mostly probably after actually getting a 10-lap green flag run, we'll see most of these drivers come down, take 4 tires. 4 tires always so important for these guys as they have unlimited number of sets. Rarely will you see 2, maybe a guy like Guy Snyder fighting for points, trying to pick up an extra few positions on pit road.
Well, Dakota, looking at the row 1 that started first and second, you still got Landon Huffman out front, Chad Cole and the DeWalt Ford to his right on this reset or restart. The pace car light should come off here at Kentucky, and this thing should be going back green next time by.
Tell you what, though, there are a few more cars we need to watch out for. R.J. Williams was actually the fastest car in practice. Wasn't quite able to hit the qualifying time that they did, but he did. He is running qualified 5th. I'm not quite sure where he's running. He's running 4th right now. So R.J. Williams, you can't count on him. I know Dwayne Vincent was also fast in practice. So these are 2 guys that you can't quite count out, and they're right there.
And 36 cars, 36 drivers made the race tonight. Steve Herring not making the field tonight. Excuse me, Stephen Herring did make the field. But 1 car did not, and 3 cars right now, 33 out of 36 being on the lead lap. J. Randall Watkins being shown 1 lap down, Jonathan Cadell being shown 1 lap down, and also Jose Gonzalez, who was tied up with a wreck earlier on last week at Charlotte on lap 2. Tonight again, lap 2. Tough break for Jose there. He's 36, 1 lap down.
And I believe J. Randall Watkins is actually called it a night. I don't know if Matt has any more information on that, whether he's up the track or not.
So far, I got no more information on that, Dakota, and I'll be glad to get you guys an update here in just a few minutes, but it looks like we're about ready to go green almost with these cars lined up side by side.
And Dakota, here we go. Pace car going to come down pit road this time by. Lights are off. It will complete lap 7 here at Kentucky Motor Speedway. 110 laps total. There'll be about 104 to go here at the line as Landon Huffman takes them to the green here at
Not
Kentucky.
not quite the start he actually took a while ago. Before he kind of took it conservative, went on the green, but that time it looks like he went just a little bit earlier and took Chad Cole to surprise, and Chad Cole not quite able to hang in there, but he's actually side by side for second. Going to fall back to third now.
And the battle is for fourth. R.J. Williams, as you mentioned earlier, and behind him, Kel Drasback making the move from fifth to fourth. Underneath the 21 machine of R.J. Williams, sponsored by that ETV-eplay.net. Chevrolet, rock your brains out, dude, on the ETV Live Radio. This one's on the radio, Dakota, live on ETV Radio. So I hope you guys are enjoying the race so far as the 21 machine, the 13 of Dwayne Vincent, and Kel Drasback race in turn 2.
Chad Cole able to sneak away back into the second position and see if he can run down Landon Huffman again.
And the battle's still raging here. Kel Drasback underneath the 21 machine going into 3. May have the pass cleared here, but 21 charging high on the outside, trying to hold fourth position. And Kel Drasback to the line, still is in fifth.
It's like I said, R.J. Williams was fast in practice. I don't know if he'll be able to be beat very easily here.
And meanwhile, just behind them, Rick Faust in sixth. He's loving it in that Sunday Money Chevrolet 78 machine. As they race, he's able to close in the gap. And in fact, Dwayne Vincent is also closing in the gap on Chad Cole in second spot as we speak.
R.J. Williams actually going to forfeit the spot to the 45. It looks like he's trying to chase him back down and go underneath him. I think what we're seeing is that outside lane is, like I said, a little bit slower and a lot harder to keep position in.
It really is. Kentucky's one of those tracks where there's a lot of room, which means what, Dakota? A lot of room to make mistakes. And a lot of these guys trying to stay away from the mistakes tonight at Kentucky.
That's not easy because at this track, mistakes tend to find you.
Yeah, they really can. Looking back here, C.J. LeVere, who finished second last week in 10th spot, he's battling the deuce of Ronnie Potts, the bone collector car, if you will, in turn 2. Ahead of them, the lime green Chevrolet of R.C. Rigdon, who we always see out front. Those guys battling all in the top 10.
And Dwayne Vincent, I mentioned him just a little bit earlier. He is taking over second position.
Absolutely. Dwayne Vincent always doing a fabulous job in this series. We've seen week in, week out top 10. Although he's not in the chase contention, Dakota came on to Real Sim Racing a little halfway through the season. But I hope to see him next year for a full run here in the RSR Full Throttle Cup Series. I'm sure he'll be back.
And I want to throw a shout out here real fast to Keith Brooks Jr., who actually started from pit road, was running 23rd, actually moved to the outside lane right there, and is actually getting passed by Nathan Little. But he started on pit road as we have a caution on the track. Get back to this real fast.
Yeah, it looks like the 26th position car of Michael Gray, solo spin coming out of 2 on lap 12. Couldn't quite get the grip on the front of the tires, loses it, saves it, loses it, and hits the inside wall there, Dakota, real hard. Heavy damage to that multicolored Vocaloid Chevrolet of Michael Gray, who again running 26th position in the wall hard, and he's taking that car behind the garage.
Yeah, I think you can see him all the way to the corner fighting to get the car down as low as the 22 was, and he was still cranking the wheel when he came on the straightaway. And when you're still cranking the wheel coming on the straightaway, you better be ready for it to turn because it's going to keep turning like it was. So, I mean, that's just a result of him just trying to get to the bottom there, it seems like.
Yeah, and on the E-play being shown right now, you see him lose it right in front of the car there, and saves it. Now watch him save it, and then he overcorrects it right there, Dakota, and bam, hits the wall, hard lick, almost gets airborne a little bit. He does, in fact, keeps all 4 wheels back on the ground though, and Michael Gray, tough break early on here at Kentucky. Another victim being taken early at Kentucky. And Dakota, pit strategy now? Anybody pitting?
Yeah, I'm seeing Landon Huffman and Chad Cole staying out. I think Landon Huffman had to stay out because Chad Cole was opting to stay out. But everybody else coming down pit road. Matt and Josh, what do you got for us, guys?
We got Dwayne Vincent right from the 3rd spot on the track. looks like he stopped short in his pit stall. Going to cost him a few times. Going to roll that thing a few inches forward. Right side's up. Left side's going to probably go up next. And they're filling that car up with gas, and he'll be down the way. Probably going to lose a few positions here.
I'm looking at Kyle Dredge back. He took 4 tires and fuel, and he almost beat Dwayne Vincent and R.J. Williams off pit road.
Couple guys taking 4, Dakota there, couple taking 2, trying to get some spots early on here at Kentucky. And tell you what, we're going to take a break here with Real Sim Racing Full Throttle Cup Series sponsored event by Bob Earl Racing. You're watching Chase Race number 6 at Kentucky. Who's going to win it? Right now, out front, Landon Huffman, Chad Cole, Dwayne Vincent, Kel Dresbeck, and R.J. Williams, your top 5 when we return. Some green flag action, perhaps, live on ETV.
It's time for those most famous words in motorsports. Drivers, start your engines!
Michael Conti comes up at a corner number 4 to the checkered flag. He wins his first NASCAR night race.
Welcome back to ETV Live at Kentucky Motor Speedway, where Jonathan Cadell was the lucky dog participant for this caution. He'll get back on the lead lap. But for something very, very exciting, or something very bad for some Landon Huffman fans, Josh?
Yeah, during that commercial break, we found out that Landon Huffman's dive on the pit road, when he came back onto the racing surface, he had already crossed the commit cone, so he got an end-of-the-line penalty for that. So he's going to have to start at the back.
And Dakota out looking at 32nd position. What do you think's going through Huffman's mind right now?
Well, for one, it's probably still about, am I the points leader right now? Because I believe right now, with as many positions back as he is from Chad Cole, he might not actually be the points leader.
Nope. Right now, as it stands, Chad Cole has taken over the points lead, if you want to look at it from that perspective. Landon Huffman's in 32nd position, and I believe, yeah, Cole's 28 points ahead, or 28 points behind, so, and that's a position game there, position points.
If you want to look at it like this, we've had a few wrecks in the back. Well, that's where Landon Huffman's at right now, and you got to think he's going to be charging to the front on old tires. What kind of combination does that make for him?
It's going to get exciting, that's for sure. And right now, the excitement, pace car leads them off to the green flag here at Kentucky. Cole getting a real early start. Horton slow on the gas and Throttle the 97 of Nathan Little taking over second spot, no problem. And Jay Horton's going to have a lot of guys underneath him in turn 1, Coda.
RJ Williams sneaking through. He was 5th on that restart. He's now up to 3rd, so he also gaining a lot of positions because of that outside lane not rolling through the 13 at Dwayne Vincent. He was the first car from the outside to actually get some speed going. He's right on the heels of RJ Williams heading into turn number 3, not quite able to do anything as they're just about to stack up going into turn number 3 or 2 4.
Guys, Jay Horton, in the matter of not even half a lap, all the way from 2nd to 11th at the line.
You gotta wonder if that's a result of old tires. I think he was one of the few cars that might have actually stayed out, or maybe he was just sleeping that much.
Big battle raging for 3rd position. Nathan Little actually giving way to the 13, letting him go by, and sneaking into the number 2 spots. RJ Williams coming in 4.
And we are, I believe, side by side all the way through the back. A lot of racing going on the track. So I can't tell if limit 4 of CJ LeVere was actually just working around with RC Rigdon. So RC Rigdon actually moving back even further in the positions.
I want to take you all the way back to 25th spot. That's where Joseph Hayes is running. He's trying to make his way underneath the 61 machine of White Wolf to his outside. The Thrustmaster Chevrolet is there, and also behind the 69 of Joseph Hayes, Landon Huffman, who's running 27th. He's gained a few spots since we've taken the green flag back.
Especially after he restarted someone run 32nd, he's up to 27th, so that's not a bad run for him, as he is roughing through traffic pretty quickly, especially on, actually I believe he is on first tires because he came down the second time there, so Landon Huffman is still stuck in the back as, they almost wreck in front of him, so this is a really, really dangerous spot for him.
Absolutely dangerous, for sure, as the 61 machine now, Landon Huffman works on him, and he's still got a long way to go, but back up front, kinda, up to 5th spot, the number 78 machine, Rick Fouts, under fire by Cal Dresbach down the front stretch. This guy's got his Chevrolet Shuntworks White Whiskey Ohio made machine up towards the front, and that's Kyle Dresbach.
And Guy Snyder, who I believe started in the 17th position, is actually currently running 12th. And remember, Guy won last week at Charlotte Motor Speedway. But if this doesn't tell you, actually we have a battle for the lead. But if this doesn't tell you the battle or how much of a difference it is between Charlotte and Kentucky, Guy Snyder, who was really, really good last week, is actually running 12th, or right outside the top 10, not quite able to stay up front. As RJ Williams actually goes around Chad Cole, and somebody almost spin. Yep, somebody spins Chad Cole.
Cole is under attack. All 4 wheels off the racing surface, Dakota. Oh man, they're still stacking up. Cole was running 2nd at the time of the incident. Dwayne Vincent and the Silver Bullet just barely getting into the left rear quarter panel, sending that 17.4 DeWalt machine high above Kentucky Speedway for a minute, an e-ticket ride, if you will. Steve Ritter also involved in the mix of things.
That was a little violent.
See if we can't get this one on the ETV E-Wine here.
But watching this, it looks like Cole was kind of backing up. He got to the brakes just a little bit earlier, and Dwayne Vincent was determined to stay up. I mean, you watched right after he turns Cole, he actually gets down the bottom. Before that, he was determined to stay up and use the outside lane for some reason.
Keep in mind, Dwayne Vincent steered clear of any harm. He got underneath the 17 there just a little bit, clipping his left rear quarter panel. The 16 Steve Ritter on screen, you see CJ LeVere, the 19 RC Rigdon, Glenn Campbell up high in the 44 there, the yellow Penske Chevrolet or Dodge. You'll see him miss the 17 of Chad Cole, but man, Chad Cole got a little airtime there, an e-ticket ride, if you will, as we go dual screen there. You see in the replay to the right, live coverage on the left side by live, and the E-Wine on the right, Dakota. Tough break for Chad Cole, big time damage to that machine, Matt.
Yeah, Keaton, he's already pulled that thing behind the wall, and his night's going to be done pretty much. The engine's probably gone on that car along with some other pieces on the side. I mean, this is going to be a huge blow for the championship points right now, but we still got to think RJ Williams way up out front in front of his teammate Landon Huffman. Gano getting a lot of points there, and the same thing with Guy Snyder.
I just seen the second place car Nathan Little slide through the pits, Josh, but a host of other guys coming down pit road. Looks like everybody down except for R.J. Williams.
Yeah, I was watching Nathan Little too, and he's out of his box. He took 4 tires and fuel. Yeah, that cost him a little bit sliding through, but luckily he's going to get out pretty good.
Yeah, guys, and Huffman down away with just 2 tires, trying to gain some point spots back on this pit stop. It looks like he made a few spots back up, but not too many. But he's still got to work his way all the way up through all this other traffic, and he's also put himself in a lot of dangerous situations doing so.
Dakota, that's caution number 2 here at Kentucky as the number 21 machine of R.J. Williams leads this thing. Lap 24 out of 110 here. But, man, take a look at that good-looking car out front right now. Written all over that machine is ETV Live Radio. Rock your brains out, dude. HDRN, Network, ETV Live, all over that car. Dakota, looks good, don't it?
Yes, sir, it does.
And just to his immediate rear, we see the 69 machine, Joseph Hayes. He will, in fact, come down pit road this time, guys. He picked up a little bit of damage, but also, too, the silver bullet, Dwayne Vincent. Want to make mention, he was given an EOL penalty, so he'll have to go to the end of the longest line, and no black flag. He'll stay on the lead lap, but he's going to go all the way from second towards the back to around 29th.
Keith, why don't we take this time? We'll talk about the sponsor that's on the number 21 machine there, ETV Live Radio. ETV Live always pushing the bar just a little bit further. Is proud to introduce the ETV Live Radio, supported by HD Radio Network. Check them out; they're great. ETV Live Radio features classic rock every hour, every day. You can also catch live events such as the race day broadcasts right from the booth, like what's going on now, and the Winter is Motorsports show on Monday nights from 6 to 8 p.m. in Open Paddock, live at 9:30 p.m. on Tuesday nights. The Pit Report. We don't actually do that anymore. ETV Live Radio featured in the sports section of iTunes. Get the mobile app from tunein.com and look for us on the Windows Media Guide. ETV Live Radio is on the HD Radio Network. Again, check them out.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're at home right now watching the broadcast or on the radio listening in live to ETV, get on your smartphone and download this app. You're talking about real cool. You can hear this thing straight from your phone. You can plug your headset up to it and listen as you go down the road for a little bit as we cover live green to green flag racing on etv-eplay.net. Dakota, Kentucky Motor Speedway again. That's where we're at tonight. Chase race number 6. 4 to go after this, and the points are relatively close. We mentioned at the beginning of the broadcast. Chad Cole in second spot. He's 28 points behind race leader Landon Huffman, who's towards the back right now, mid-pack. Guy Snyder sitting third points, 33 points behind R.J. Williams. We've mentioned him. He's been up front a little bit. Actually, he's leading the race right now. He's 49 points behind. And then just rounding out the top 5, Joseph Hayes in that 69 machine. Look for him. He's got to let it all hang out tonight. He's 60 points behind. Also, Abbott, 75. Horton 76 behind. So look for these guys. They're on the bubble. Hayes, Abbott, Horton, you guys are on the bubble. You guys got to get one of these cars in victory lane tonight to look at a shot at winning this thing.
Yeah, and you got to remember, about 10 laps ago, Chad Cole was about the points leader, we believe. As of about 3 laps ago, Chad Cole probably just fell out of contention for the points lead, and that's got to be devastating to Chad Cole. So some of these guys really getting upset, and I guarantee that's why Chad Cole or Landon Huffman took 2 tires trying to work to the traffic there. So he is up to about 6th position right now, or about 5th, I believe. So either way, I mean, I think that proved right there. Chad Cole was running second, and he got turned around and destroyed. So he's probably not a safe spot anywhere on this track, as we've talked before. I think Dover was inappropriately named the Monster Mile when it should have been like the Monster or something, you know.
Quickly, guys, Matt, any update on that number 75 machine? Hearing something electrical?
Yeah, his electrical and the internet's kind of in and out here, so he's dropping in and out, losing some horsepower here and then. They've given him a warning now, and this could possibly lead to further incidences where he could be sent to the back at these restarts, or even possibly black flagged out of the race if he doesn't get his act together inside that car. But they're just telling him he's got to get going, and pace car is off. Looks like we're going back to green flag.
Yeah, and Dakota, wow, he's worked that machine all the way up to 5th. As we take the green here, R.J. Williams completing lap number 27 here at Kentucky, and Cale Dresbach following in pursuit in 2nd position.
So real fast, let's run down to Joshua Herbison. I believe he talked with Chad Cole there.
Yeah, I just got done talking to Jack Cole and the crew chief, and they said that car is really messed up, but they're going to get it back on the track, and they're going to try and run some more laps to make up some points.
Right now, as it stands, the number 17 of Chad Cole, who Josh just mentioned, 3 laps down, and he's got his work cut out for him tonight, Dakota. But R.J. Williams leading this thing at Kentucky with fashion, though, with Cale Dresbach in pursuit in 2nd position, and Glenn Campbell, who's running 3rd.
Guy Snyder just worked around the 2 of, I believe that is Ronnie Potts, but he has moved up into, I believe, the 6th position here, right behind Landon Huffman.
Looking at the battle for 9th and 10th and 11th, that's between John Abbott, he's in contention for this thing, David Lanza, Scott Brotherton, and Nathan Bowers. Big battle for top 10 brewing as the number 9 car of Scott Brotherton gets a little piece of the Kentucky wall with him.
I think there's a lot of cars getting the wall here tonight, Keith.
John Abbott in the 9th position, working underneath the 83 machine of Jay Horton, who's having a little bit of electrical problems here going into 3, but give it to Abbott, who takes over 8th.
And looking as the battle for the lead actually tightened up quite a bit. R.J. Williams getting really tight up that wall, almost hitting it. And Cale Dresbach is actually using the very, very bottom part of the track where it seems like R.J.'s not quite able to get to, and he's running him down. We could have a really close battle for the lead here in just a moment.
Absolutely, and just to give you lap times, Cale Dresbach, 31, as he takes a little bit of the Kentucky wall with him coming out of 2, Dakota, 31.799, and RJ turning a lap of 31.841, so a little quicker, the 45 machine who's running 2nd.
Not quite going to be that quick though this time, because like we said, he did get the wall, just barely, but just enough to slow him down, but we'll see if he can't run down R.J. Williams again.
And while you're keeping an eye on the race leader at home, I want to make mention that 28 cars out of 36 on the lead lap. CJ Lavere being the guy on the bubble, ready to be awarded the lucky dog if this thing goes back caution. But Adam Roberts, let's talk about him for a minute. He's in that number 88 machine running 28th. Got a little fun thing to do with him. Adam Roberts, fun photo op. John, you want to get that up for us? There you go. Adam Roberts, 28th position right now. You see the graphic there on your screen, guys. Doug Roth enjoying that in the chat room. Again, if you're not in this chat room, get in here. We got a bunch of people watching. All you got to do is click here to chat, and you'll just type in a username. You don't have to have a password. You can get right on in here and get in the action. If you got a question, ask away. Doug Roth, who's a regular racer for this league, is in the chat room tonight, so you can kind of get an idea of how RSR operates. Get in there and ask Roth some questions. Dakota, but who's leading this thing?
Out front, R.J. Williams still continues to lead. I believe Cale Dresbach has not quite been able to run him back down. It seems like the further away R.J. Williams got after Cale got the wall, he's just been able to maintain that because he's got clean air, no problems, nothing to worry about. But the 44, I believe that's the 44, closing in. Yes, Glenn Campbell, who actually works with Chad Cole most of the time, is actually closing in on Cale Dresbach now, as Landon Huffman also behind him closing in. So we have a three-way battle for 2nd pretty much.
Absolutely, Landon Huffman has put that machine exactly where it needs to be as caution comes out for the 3rd time this evening. Big pile up in turn 3, Dakota. Looks like it's going to start with Wyatt Wolf Jr. running 14th spot in the 63 machine. But he might have got a little help from that Real Sim Racing Chevrolet of Keith Brooks Jr.
Yeah, it looks like Keith Brooks threw the car down, but not quite able to stick. He pushed up the track and got White Wolf, put him in the wall, and then he also collected the wall. So they collected a few other cars there, but I believe White Wolf's day might actually be done with just that one hit from the wall there. As I saw smoke pouring out of the car, I believe he is done.
Gonna see if we can't get this one on the E-wind as you're watching here. Now look for look for that pink car, the 71 machine, Keith Brooks Jr. There he is. There he is, right in front of you, right there. The 63, 71, both tangling up, getting hard in the wall, taking. Looks like some guys escaped, but I don't think 69 did. Of Joseph Hayes, hard lick into the number 63 machine of White Wolf Jr.
58 of Justin M. Wilson will be the, as they call it, the ETV Live Lucky Dog Award recipient this time. As everybody heads down pit road, I do believe maybe Matt and Joshua can cover their stops.
Yeah, Dakota down here on pit road. I've got my eye on Guy Snyder as he's rolling down pit road, about to enter his pit box. It looks like all night complaining that his pit crew is being slow. Last time in, a 14.5 second pit stop. That's a couple seconds off everybody else, Dakota. So he's got right sides up right now, filling that thing up with gas. The left side's about to go up on that car. He's going to get 4 tires and go away.
Yeah, I'm sitting here at Landon Huffman watching his pit stop. He's going to take 4 tires and full tank of gas. He likes the way his car's handling. He's moving to the field pretty good. And he's down and away. Looks like he's going to come out second.
Yeah, and Jonathan Kendall in the 26 Navy car back here. He involved in an early wreck. You can still see some of the damage on that car, but he got 4 tires and going to go away, slow down pit road.
And there you have from our ETV Live All-Star pit crew. But I'll tell you what, I believe it's been a caution or two since we stepped away and went to commercial. So let's let the sponsors pay the bills. Let's step away, take a real quick commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Race fans, it's time for those most famous words in motorsports. Travis, start your engines!
Michael Conti comes up at a corner number 4 to the checkered flag. He wins his first NASCAR iRacing.
Welcome back, live coverage from ETV at Kentucky Motor Speedway with the Real Sim Racing Full Throttle Cup Series, and Dwayne Vincent being shown your race leader right now. Pace car lights are off. These guys are in turn 1, and Dakota, these guys, you know, are not only fighting for respect in the RSR world, of things and to win this championship. But these guys are fighting for the big trophy, the big prize that's awarded at the end, and it's that virtual racing seat that's designed by Bob Earl Racing. And let me tell you, this guy's a championship race car driver, knows exactly how to create these things, and these cockpits, does a really good job with it. He certainly knows what it means to be comfortable in a racing seat, and that's why he makes these things. For comfortability and for the features that come along with this thing, you can't beat it for $350. You can order one right now at BobEarlRacing.com. Again, Bob Earl, EARL Racing.com. Go order one of these things, and I bet Landon Huffman, Chad Cole, Guy Steiner, the rest of these guys really hoping that they can get this points lead and take this home with them, Dakota.
He also knows what series to sponsors because he picked a great series, a lot of great drivers here, and a lot of good racing. As the leader is about to take the green flag, it is not R.J. Williams this time, but Landon Huffman starting third, Dwayne Vincent starting first, as cautions back out.
Looks like caution out. Number 12 car, in 12th position, the 91 car, Steve Gottschalk, bringing out the caution. Dakota looked like he just turned that thing right into the wall.
I believe he spun the tires there, which is unique to do it like that, but it sounds about right.
Well, also, too, you know, Dakota, some of these guys will try to get a good restart and put that thing in first gear, and you can't do it. Some tracks you can start in first gear at, but most of these guys start in second gear or even third gear at some places. But it might have looked like Gottschalk either downshifted right before the green flag came out or something, because that car just went straight up into the wall, or it could have been a bad episode of wheel spin.
Yeah, and it's always dangerous, especially if you're on older tires, but I don't know why it would have spun like that. It's really bad when you just mash the gas down like most people want to do on the restart. You don't take it easy. Those cars known to do that, just spin really, really, really easily.
Looks like the 67 machine of Brian Harvey being shown the lucky dog participant this time by. He goes from being one lap down to on the lead lap in 25th spot. So 25 out of 36 drivers, Dakota, right now are on the lead lap. 39 laps into this, or 40 laps into this race.
Yeah, and if it looks like it's slow-mo on the screen, it's not. We're just waiting on the pace car.
Yeah, and we're cautioned if you're just joining us. We're under caution because of Steve Gottschalk. We think that he might have had that car in first gear, and as soon as he hit the gas, the throttle, that car just shot straight to the wall, and he actually spun and right in front of the flagman, and he had no choice. I mean, there was no choice but to throw the caution. And Joshua Harbison's gonna have an update here in just a few moments on that machine of that. But Dakota, out front, playing his cards right for the time being, Dwayne Vincent, that 13 Silver Bullet machine.
And remember, Dwayne Vincent actually getting an incident there with Chad Cole a little bit earlier, which is kind of dangerous. He did actually end up spinning and wrecking out Chad Cole, who was second in points, and his night is almost done. But I believe Joshua Harbison has somebody standing by. Josh? Well, you know what, guys? I think we have a radio patched through to RJ Williams. RJ Williams, you got a copy, bud?
Definitely got y'all.
Man, I believe you started like, where'd you start? 5th, I think, and you were running like first in practice, man. You worked your way back up to the field. You've lost the lead. You've taken the lead. Now you're sitting second. What is your mindset right now?
Well, trying to figure out how Dwayne's gonna run here once we get to going. Once we get these cautions out of the way, I think I got something for him. I noticed that when I stayed out that last caution, she was rather tight, but I was able to keep Kel behind me, so I'm going to try to see what I can do with this 13 in front of me here.
And what were you thinking when you saw this carnage behind you when Dwayne Vincent gets into Chad Cole and turns him around in front of the whole field?
Well, I looked up and I saw Chad up in the wall, and I mean, to be honest, the first thought in my head was, "Oh, there's gonna be some points." So, I mean, I hate it for him, but that's some points for me, though.
And RJ, you think you have anything for the win here? I mean, I know Landon's fast. A lot of these guys up here are fast, but I mean, you look to be really one of the quicker ones out there. Do you think you had this one maybe where you can contend for the win in the end?
I dominated here last time we were here. I think I led the most laps. Hardly anybody led any other laps, so it's going to be hard to get around me. I love this place. It really suits my driving style, so you can expect me to be up here most of the night.
Thank you, RJ, for talking to us in your nice-looking ETV Live radio car there.
Thanks, guys. Enjoy the race.
It's RJ Williams actually getting set to go green in just a few laps here. Gonna have him, put back, and he's off of our channel. So, Keaton, we're pacing once again.
Yep, 41 laps into this thing, not quite halfway yet. These guys, if it stays green from here to the 110 mark, these guys will still have to pit, which makes it fun. Right now we're looking at about 70 to go, and 63 laps on a full tank of gas. And as Josh and Matt have both mentioned numerous times, 50 lap marks where these tires start to go cold, and you'll start seeing them slipping and sliding. Although we've seen a lot of that early on here tonight at Kentucky. But Kentucky's one of those tracks where that can happen at. It's a real fast track, and it's kind of a multiple groove track to where you can kind of run different areas, and it makes for some tough competition, and that's what we're seeing.
And does anybody have an update right now on Landon Huffman having some issues on the track, I believe?
Yeah, Dakota and Landon Huffman out there still having some of the electrical issues. They put a new battery in it under that last pit stop, but they're saying that's just not doing enough. There's got to be something more wrong inside that car. So still trying to get something figured out, and they're still giving him the warning that he's got to fix this soon or else it could result in more penalties.
But keep in mind, though, Landon Huffman is third. He's not in the back. He's not been given an EOL penalty. He's not a lap down. So your points leader, for those listening, tuning in on the ETV Live radio or the ETV broadcast, he's in third position, although he's having a little bit of trouble with electrical problems, as Matt mentioned, with the battery, and it could be some other things. So keep an eye out on that 75 machine, Dakota, and the light should come off the pace car this time by, giving Dwayne Vincent the 1-to-go signal. And we just talked to RJ Williams. He's wanting to lead. He says by lap 60 he wants to lead. He wants it at halfway, and he wants to lead it the rest of the way. So look for that ETV radio sponsored Chevrolet to get back up towards the front.
I'm more. I think he's going to be able to get to lead here relatively quick. I mean, he has been fast all night long. We know Dwayne Vincent had a pretty good restart there, while it lasted last time. But Dwayne Vincent, he's pretty good on restarts. But it seems like everybody that gets up there, they're able to throw everyone for a surprise. But I think RJ Williams is the guy to beat tonight.
Here's some stats for all you statistical lovers out there. RJ Williams, fastest lap of the race, 31.533, to your race leader Dwayne Vincent's fastest lap of the race, 31.650. So RJ Williams a little quicker, and he turned that lap 18 to Dwayne Vincent's also lap 18. So lap 18 must have been a real fast lap.
Tell you what, actually, RJ Williams has the fastest lap out of everybody in the top 5. Not to mention, like I said before, he was fastest in practice, so this guy is on a roll.
He really is, and again, he's right behind the silver bullet of Dwayne Vincent, who leads this thing. And to his right, as you mentioned, Kill Dresbach, Guy Snyder rounding out the top 5, and the Glenstone Cowboy, Glenn Campbell, in 6th to Guy Snyder's right.
Ronnie Potts in 7th, Nathan Little in 8th, and David Lands in 9th, John Abbott in 10th, running at your top 10 as we get set to go green flag racing.
Dwayne Vincent gonna lead them to the green. Pace car down pit road. Dwayne Vincent's getting up to speed. He'll go through gear 2, gear 3, and when we get into turn 1, he'll be 4th gear, and RJ Williams is right behind him as Landon Huffman takes over 3rd from Kill Dress back into 1.
Joe Williams already closing up that gap pretty quickly as Vincent not quite going to get the restart he would like to have, but is Landon Huffman also creeping this battle? I have a feeling one of the three will mount the lead very, very soon.
And keep an eye out front. Dwayne Vincent, again, he's a little slower than R.J. Williams, but nevertheless, he's out front right now as it stands. And Landon Huffman, who's about 3-4 car lengths behind R.J. Williams, sitting in third going into one as R.J. closes the gap to Vincent.
Guy Snyder almost turned Caleb Rosebach going into turn number 3, getting really, really tight. I think Matthew Close has something on Chad Cole.
Yeah, guys, Chad Cole just checked in with his crew chief. They've got all the repairs done on that car, and he's back out on the track running around, running some laps right now. It looks like he's going to pick up a possibility of 3 positions right now from cars that are parked back in the garage from that last couple of wrecks, consisting of Joseph Hayes, Wyatt Wolf Jr., and Keith Brooks Jr., all back sitting in their garage, not looking to probably come out anytime soon, if at all tonight. But Chad Cole back on the track trying to get by these guys and pick up a few more positions.
And Chad Cole being shown 31st on the racetrack as it stands, 7 laps down from the 30th position car, Joseph Hayes, who's 11 laps down from the race leader, which is now R.J. Williams to the lead and down the front stretch, Dakota.
And guess who creeped in the second? If you didn't guess the points leader, then you would have been wrong. It was Landon Huffman, who was right there on the heels of R.J. Williams, his buddy and teammate, I do believe.
Yeah, Vincent just not getting the run off of turn 4 like he wanted, allowing R.J. Williams to the inside and Huffman to the inside. So Vincent falls back to third, Huffman to second. But again, race leader R.J. Williams coming around to complete lap number 48 here at Kentucky Speedway. R.J. Williams looking mighty good and strong out front as it stands.
Caleb Rosebach, who did not have the best restart, creeping back up in the 4th position and creeping back up in these top 3. I have a feeling he might creep up there and actually do something with these guys before it's over.
Going back here to about 10th position in the 10th car, the Stroker Races Dodge Charger belonging to John Abbott. He's got the top 10 right now solidified, but he's got Scott Brotherton and that number 9 machine who's hungry, who wants his first win of the season, who wants a top 10 here. He's on his back bumper about 2 car lengths behind going into 1.
Glenn Campbell, so I think we started seeing more of him in the last few races. I know he now works with Chad Cole and them, and yeah, he's in 5th position. He's with Team Manchild Motorsports at Cole Parade or something like that. But outside of Caleb Rosebach right now working his way, I'm possibly still in the, I believe, 4th position away. And he's been really, really quick recently. He actually has a teammate behind him of Guy Snyder, who almost turned the 45 a little bit earlier, accidentally getting really, really tight. So we'll watch as they try to work traffic there in the 4th, 5th, and 6th position as Glenn Campbell's actually able to take the spot.
He sure does, but Dresbach gives him a little nudge and says, hey, buddy, I'm right here with you. And that allowed Guy Snyder to close in a little bit on Kell going into 3 here. So good battling here for the top tier positions, 4th, 5th, and 6th. You're watching the battle on ETV.
And Matthew Close has something on Landon Huffman.
Yeah, guys, just a quick update on Huffman. His crew chief trying to let the officials know under caution is the only time they're having these electrical issues. So they're trying to say it's something wrong with the alternator under such low speeds, not being able to charge up. He needs enough to turn off some fans inside that car and try and keep it going under the cautions a little bit better. But so far under green, no worry for your points leader out here running second. Looks like he's set himself in cruise control right now behind teammate R.J. Williams, just cruising for the win probably. More of a battle coming to the end.
Matthew Close running up and down pit road tonight, huh, Keaton?
Absolutely, and Dakota, if you're Huffman, you got to think, man, I hope this one stays green. From what Matt just told us, only problems being shown are under caution laps, whereas alternator not getting charged up properly. So, good point there that Matt brought up, but also, too, for the sake of Huffman staying in this thing and that car not dying, is for this thing to stay green.
Yeah, but I think he's going to run into trouble when he has to come down from green flag pit stops. He's going to slow the car down, got a V-slow coming all the way down pit road, and he's got to stop in his stall, so that can be a little dangerous, especially if he's losing a lot of power. Eventually, it could just not refire.
Want to take you back here to the 15th, 14th, and 16th position. Jay Horton battling Brian Hartford for all he's worth. The text hunger to 50555 Chevrolet of Brian has taken over the 14th spot from Jay Horton, but the 22, the double deuce of John Milwane's involved in this race as well. He's underneath Horton into 1.
And right in front of them, Brian Hartford in the 10 car, just kind of casually trying to drive away with 14th position and close on a 32 of Rich Jet. Rich Jet also kind of surprising me. He's up in the 13th position, and he was working 12th position there.
Again, 36 drivers taking the green flag here tonight at Kentucky. Only 24 being shown on the lead lap. Steve Herring in the number 24 spot is the last on the lead lap, and CJ LaVere is in 25th, being shown 1 lap down, and he's on the bubble to getting that lap back if this thing goes caution.
Keaton, there was almost a caution. I think you jinxed Jay Horton as he made lag contact, netcode contact with the guy he was battling with, and loses quite a few spots and a lot of speed going down the front stretch. He moves from 15th to 17th in just about a lap there.
Now, you got to think, Dakota, 56 laps into this event out of 110. These guys, are they starting to talk about pit strategies, or is it a little too early here?
I think right now they can make it from about right now. I think they could pit this lap and make it on field to the end. But what they want to do is probably stretch it out as far as they can and wait as long as they can, being as they have as much fuel as they do. Wait for it, because if there is a caution by any chance, that'll be their savior instead of pitting now and going a lap down and having to stay out on old tires to get the wave around. So it could be a really, really bad spot to pit right now and get a caution later.
And what we're seeing right now on the racetrack, fans, as you follow along, looking at a battle at 6th spot. That's between Guy Snyder, Ronnie Potts, and David Lanza there. But as you look, you're starting to see a groove kick in. These guys are getting into a rhythm, and they're getting into their groove, if you will. And we haven't seen a caution here in a while. It's green. These guys are starting to separate. You're starting to see who saved their right fronts, who saved their right rear, who hasn't. And before too long, we hope we'll see what could be first green flag pit stops at Kentucky, which, Josh, isn't exactly the easiest thing to do, coming off turn 4, trying to get down in that pit box there.
To my knowledge, Keaton, actually saving the tires is not the way to go. On iRacing, at least to my knowledge here, so tire wear is not always even, and you can be really, really quick, and then actually the tire wear is kind of messed up on iRacing, but it doesn't quite fall off as much as people would like to think, and so saving the tires isn't as crucial. I mean, you still have to do just a little bit of it, but you don't have to do as much of it and still be fast, and that's how the two leaders are kind of pulling away, is they figured the tire out pretty much.
If you're still watching the battle for 5th position, then you're watching one heck of a racetrack. Three wide, Dakota going into 3 just for a minute, and things have started to separate and settle back down, but almost a scare.
Almost a scare indeed, because Len Humpin just came off the corner. I believe he was sideways because he lost a little bit of ground. It looked like he was just sliding just a little bit there. As coming back to look at it again, and yeah, it looks like the rear end almost came out underneath him there, so it was kind of a scary moment for Landon Huffman.
Again, side by side for the 5th spot of Kel Dresbach, Ronnie Potts now single file, but now double file for the 27 and 33 of Lanza going into turn 1. Lanza's got the bottom. Guy Snyder shuts the door, single file again.
Landon Huffman sideways again. He's just hanging on that thing right now as he comes off of 2. It's like every time he comes off turn 2, he is drifting almost. You should have seen it coming that time. It was a really, really big wiggle there.
Yeah, back up front too, Landon Huffman, who's in 2nd, and ahead of him, R.J. Williams, who's consecutively now for the past couple laps turned faster times than Huffman. So R.J. Williams really getting things done here at Kentucky. Approaching halfway here in a couple of laps. We'll see when these guys start the pit, but for now we're going to go to a commercial break at lap 62 here, and when we return, hopefully we'll see more green flag racing here at the Real Sim Racing Full Throttle Cup Series, sponsored by Marlboro Racing. Welcome back to ETV Live at Kentucky Motor Speedway with the Real Sim Racing Full Throttle Cup Series. R.J. Williams, your race leader. Second is Landon Huffman, nearly a second behind R.J. Williams. He's putting on a good show right now, Dakota.
Yeah, and the guy I was watching, I just went back to see what happened. There's Justin M. Wilson, who just went down pit road. He got the wall off of 2, and then ended up spinning, basically, coming down pit road after a while. So trouble for Justin M. Wilson was actually received the ETV Live Lucky Dog Award just a few cautions ago.
And action on the racetrack heating up with the 7th place car, Ronnie Potts, David Lanza, Abbott's in the mix of things here. Good group of guys racing right now for that, for those spots, Dakota, into turn 2. Ronnie Potts, again, running 7th in that deuce machine to Lanza's 8th position, and Abbott's working his way up from 10th to 9th.
And the guy that a lot of guys, that a lot of people have their eyes on, Landon Huffman. I just want to throw this out here again. Sideways off of every corner. I think we were talking about this under the commercial break there, Keaton. I don't think we could put another car on the track that's as sideways as Keaton or as Huffman there. He's just, every time he comes off the 2, it seems like he's drifting just a little bit. Off the floor, he's starting to get bad. Huffman is very, very loose out on the track right now. I think he could run into trouble with this. Is still green flag racing.
He is loose, Dakota, and if I'm not mistaken, I think he took 2 tires last pit stop to gain some of the big, track position that he lost with getting that EOL early on in the race. And but still looking at the battle for 5th all the way back to 9th, starting with Kel Dresbach in that Shunk Works Ohio made White Whiskey Chevrolet. He's got Guy Snyder beating all over the back door coming off of turn 2, with Ronnie Potts just about 4 car lengths behind to David Lance's 3 car lengths behind him, and then Abbott's there in the mix. So 5th to 9th, good battle on the racetrack right now as Kel Dresbach leads them all 4.
Guy Snyder hanging in the 6th position there right behind Kel. I'm feeling he's going to have something to say, maybe knock on the door and try to get back underneath and steal the position away.
And I thought that Guy Snyder was going to put the Chevrolet right there underneath the Dresbach, but he actually backed out, electing to stay behind for another couple of laps. And Matt, with an update from pit road.
Yeah, guys, Chad Cole looking at his lap times. Even though he's 18 laps down, he's passing cars in the field, and he's actually running a little bit faster than our leader was just these past couple laps. But huge wreck on the backstretch. Looks like we got a car upside down. I believe that's the car of Ed Williams Jr.
Oh no, and that actually wreck started from the 12th position car of Scott Brotherton running by himself, coming off 2, hits the wall and loses it. Dakota, and hits the inside wall pretty hard, comes back up the track and collects somebody with him, John Milwane at 22.
Yeah,
12th position.
I just want to say sorry, guys. It's number 9 Scott Brotherton that was upside down. Looking at the back of that black car, it was just confused me a little bit. Looked like the ETV Live logo. Thought it was Ed Williams, but Ed Williams Jr. is actually okay.
And what we thought we were going to see some green flag pit stops, Dakota. Now we're not. Looks like it's these guys going to come down pit road here under the yellow flag conditions. What could be the last? It's going to be close. They're coming in on lap 73, completing lap 73 out of 110. That's going to be close on fuel, but nonetheless, R.J. Williams leading them down pit road here at Kentucky, 45 miles an hour. Landon Huffman's all over the back door, coming down pit road to you, Josh. Harbinson on the far left lane.
Yeah, I'm riding in with R.J. Williams. He's been loving the way his car is feeling. He's going to take 4 tires and fuel. And no adjustments for him, except, he overshot his pit box. That's going to cost him a little bit of time.
Yeah, and Guy Snyder back here in his pit stop, 4 tires, filling that thing up, got it right in there, and he's gone for right now.
Yeah, Landon Huffman, he's in the pits. He's taking 4 in gas. He's the way. And it looks like he's going to be the first one off pit road.
Yep, also back here you got people, Jonathan Kendall, Rich Jet, Ed Williams Jr., all making a small adjustments to this car. cars and away with 4 tires and gas. That's what we're going to look at for everybody, because you guys, like we mentioned earlier at the top of the show, loose off too because of the bumps on that low side. Dakota mentioned it enough with Landon Huffman tires going to be very important to take care of all the way to the end.
Can any of you pit reporters kind of clarify what is RJ Williams saying on the radio? He came in first and left third. Was there changes made to that car? Was he upset with the slow stop? What happened there?
RJ Williams, he overshot his pit stall, and he had to back it up, so that cost him a little bit of time.
Thank you. There you have it from our All-Star Pit Report crew.
Now let's go back to what Matt brought up earlier, Dakota. Watching that 75 machine of Landon Huffman, he's got an alternator problem. You'll see that car go in and out a little bit, which means that car's not staying fully charged. And right now he looks okay, but this is not what he wanted. He didn't want caution because this is when the alternator gives him problems and the connection gives him problems.
Yeah, we actually start to see just a little bit of it at the end of that run when he was starting to lose a bit of power. I'm guessing because he was running fuel when out of it. So I'm wondering if it's not just a fuel problem, because it seems like the longer they ran, the less fuel that kind of came out of that car, the more he started doing it again. So it could be something in there, or, not full throttle, something going wrong. As he was sideways, he was having problems with that as well.
CJ LeVere, the Lucky Dog participant, ETV Live Lucky Dog participant now for this caution. He's been waiting a while. He's been on that bubble, Dakota, and he's finally got it back. So CJ LeVere, congratulations, number 4 machine back on the lead lap. 22 cars, in fact, on the lead lap here at Kentucky, and 36 drivers taking the field once again. And a couple of cars on pit road right now getting some damage fixed. That's Nathan Bowers, Adam Roberts. So hopefully those guys can stay on the lead lap here as well.
Adam Roberts in the 88 trying to catch the field, wrecks and flips himself. So trouble for the 88, and also John Milwayne, who actually was in that last caution, hitting the guy that wrecked. Actually went to check up and was run over by Wyatt Wolf, I believe, Sr. And that actually is what caused the incident to become a lot larger than what it was.
Also, too, just a quick notable here, Justin Wilson, who was involved in the wreck earlier, he's taking that machine behind the garage. He's done for the evening. Scott Brotherton, who just brought out that caution, self-spin, collecting Milwayne with him. He's not Milwayne, but wasn't Milwayne. Anyway, he's taking that machine behind the garage. He's done. And Adam Roberts, who Dakota mentioned coming to the field, flipped the car, hitting the wall. He's done. He's taking his car behind the garage. So a lot of guys here late in the race leaving.
Chad Cole was third in the 30th-something position. I think he was around 30th. 18 laps down. He's moved up to 27th. He's still holding 18 laps down, but with everybody leaving, he could come out with the top 20 out of this, the way things are going so far.
Yeah, he really could. We just mentioned Justin Wilson. He's left, and Adam Roberts has left, and John Milwayne has left. So that's 3 guys right in front of him. So he could go from 27th to 24th in a matter of about 15 laps, and which we've got about 40 here to go. So he can definitely move up, and that's good for that crew and group there for Chad Cole, who was involved in an early incident which left that 17 to walk forward almost nearly not running.
I'll tell you what, 35 to go, or I believe it's, yeah, actually it's 35, yes, when we get the green flag here. So almost done with this race as the pace car pulls off. Landon Huffman takes the green flag, gets a great restart, and I believe that is Dwayne Vincent on the outside of him, not quite able to stay up there with him on the restart. And RJ Williams starting third, actually holding third.
Back to green flag, as Dakota mentions, into turn 1. Dwayne Vincent putting that car nearly on the bottom of the apron, trying to get some sort of ground on Huffman as they come off too. Can't quite get the ground that he wanted, and now the 21's under fire by Kildrax back into 3. That's a battle for third.
Yeah, I wonder what happened to RJ Williams when he overshot his stall. I wonder if they made a change or something too to also delay him He's really loose so far, though. I mean, he got almost lost at turn 1, and then through 3 and 4, it looks like he was a little loose on the outside. I'm not sure if that was just me or what, but R.J. Williams looking just a little loose as Guy Snyder also sneaking into that battle.
Yeah, Guy Snyder puts that Chevrolet real hard into turn 1, trying to close in the gap between Kel and RJ, and he does. He's on the outside of the 45 machine going into 3. The 21 goes down low, puts the block maneuver on the 45, allowing Guy Snyder to carry into 4th.
That was a battle from earlier, the last run, where it was Kel Redback and Guy Snyder kind of hanging out. Now Guy Snyder is around and right on the tail of R.J. Williams.
These guys racing pretty hard here, but they've got to, Dakota. You got to get out front early after a green flag run. You've got to get the car where you want it, because the situation with iRacing is if you're out front, more than likely you're going to stay out front. There's only one type of groove here, and it's real hard to pass.
Someone around in the grass. Lanza going through the grass there. I was watching it. I saw that kind of out of the corner of my eye. Watching him come off of turn number 4 here. I rolled it back on the rim just a little bit. Gets really loose. All of a sudden, almost going towards the wall. Turns left to save it. And it's really loose and goes to the grass. Able to get right back up on track. Not a pit road violation or anything. And just able to merge and be all right. So a few spots lost for Landis. We'll see across the line where he actually currently is running, which will be from 7th or 8th. From 7th to 12th or 14th in just one lap.
That's how quick it can go south for you, Dakota. From 7th to 14th, that's David Lanza in the Mountain Dew black and gray Chevrolet there. But back out front, hey, move over, Landon Huffman. Dwayne Vincent's about a car length behind, and I thought he was going to nudge him out of the way in 3, but Vincent hangs on to it and trying to run him down here in 1.
And guess who else is trying to run both down? R.J. Williams is sneaking back into that picture. He's kind of pulled away from Guy Snyder, and they're railing in those leaders.
Yeah, how about R.J. Williams' last lap, 31.9 to both the leaders, 32.1s and 2. So R.J. Williams obviously a little faster here right now as we speak. He's closed in the gap to about 3 car lengths to Dwayne Vincent.
Might have been loose earlier, but maybe that's helping him in the longer run, because R.J. Williams is, like you said, on fire. He is rolling. He is one of the fastest cars on the track for the last few laps.
And just to give you a rundown on the top 10 here, Landon Huffman, of course, leading the way. Dwayne Vincent in 2nd, R.J. Williams 3rd, Guy Snyder 4th, Kel Dresbach holding 5th, although Ronnie Potts is closing in on his door in 6th. Glenn Campbell also in the mix of things in 7th. Abbott's there as well in 8th. Nathan Little has to catch up here a little bit to Abbott to kind of fight for contention there. He runs 9th. And how about Brian Hartford in the 01 car in 10th?
The top 3 cars were within a hundredth or just a few, at least a tenth, just a few hundredths from each other. So this top 3 cars are really close right now. So actually, when I look back at Guy Snyder was actually right there with him as well. So the top 4 cars are actually almost hitting identical lap times now.
R.J. Williams taking a little bit of Kentucky Motor Speedway with him coming out of Fort Dakota. Got into the wall. A little bit of right front damage to that machine now. Not sure if it's going to make it tight or loose. We'll find out here in the matter of laps. But right now it doesn't look like it's phasing him.
The biggest problem is going to be aerodynamic. He was up front just a little bit earlier. He didn't have much of an aerodynamic problem. He had Landon Huffman behind him, but not close enough to really do a whole lot with him. But now he's closing on somebody going to be side by side with him, and that damage could play just a little bit of a role, if not a big role. So we'll see as he goes side by side with Dwayne Vincent. For 2nd place, Dwayne Vincent going to back out and give the spot up.
Yeah, it looked like Dwayne Vincent just rolled out of the throttle and said, you know what, 21, go ahead, buddy, go catch him, go win that championship. And that's what R.J. Williams is wanting to do here. He wants to win a championship. He wants to win this Bob Earl Racing cockpit seat valued over $350. You can get one, BobEarlRacing.com, as we're talking about it. These guys are battling for that, Dakota. These guys are wanting to get that cockpit because iRacing and to them, it's as real as it's going to get for them. And just to have that cockpit in their house, and it just creates excitement year in, year out.
Yeah, and that's definitely a lot cheaper than $300. All they have to do is go out and win a championship here, and which is not a bad price for the seat. But they have to be here week in and week out, run for the championship, and do their best. And R.J. Williams is doing a great job, and he's been here winning races for quite a while. So R.J. Williams is doing a great job again, and I'd like to see him actually get up there and do something with the points lead, even though there's not many races left, and he's quite a few points out.
Nope, after tonight, Dakota, these guys will only have 4 races to go. And you're talking about coming down to the wire here in the closing a few races of the RSR Full Throttle Cup Series.
Coming down to the wire, I'll tell you what's coming down the wire is the lap times here. Right, last time by R.J. Williams, a 32.218, and in front of him, Landon Huffman was a 32.259. So that was R.J. Williams just a little bit quicker last time by.
Yeah, R.J. Williams has got that car on a rail tonight, and as we're talking, the Martinsville is where we go next, Dakota. Then to Texas, then to Phoenix, and then the RSR Championship weekend at Homestead, Miami, Florida. 110 laps there as well. So it's coming down to an end.
I'm more excited about probably Martinsville. I think it's going to be one of the most interesting races we've watched in a while. Martinsville full of wrecks usually, and I'm not going to guess it's going to be any different because Martinsville is just the way it is. So much braking and all kinds of stuff that it's just going to throw these guys for a loop. Sorry, especially when they come to a place like this, there's not quite as much brakes as you'll see at Martinsville, at least. I think with the braking points and everything, they changed so much at Martinsville that it's just unique. You can see guys, braking in the middle of the straightaway, 3/4 of the way straightaway. It's going to run into problems, I assure you that.
I can't wait to watch them light their rotors up as well, too, Dakota. Martinsville always a fun event to watch, especially in this series. And especially, right now on the track, in the 5th spot, Kel Dresbach and Ronnie Potts duking it out 2x2 here going into 3. As they touch, Glenn Campbell there in the 44 machine gives him a little bit of leverage to get beside Ronnie Potts coming down the front stretch. Kel Dresbach again in 6th, Ronnie Potts 7th, and Glenn Campbell 8th. But Glenn Campbell nonetheless is going to pinch the number 2 of Ronnie Potts down low, coming out of 2, see what he can do.
I'm not quite sure that want to go back and look at that 2. Ronnie Potts, I believe, getting underneath the 45 of Kel Dresbach. That was not intentional contact. Looks like the 2 of Ronnie Potts got really tight, and I think he held his spot pretty well. I think the 45 came down. Wasn't quite expecting him to be quite up as far as he was. I'm not sure though.
Just part of it. He got that car real deep, and I'm pretty sure that he was hammering the wheel to the left as far as it go to keep off of him, but they did touch. No one wrecked, so no harm, no foul. Rubbins racing.
I'll tell you what, I guarantee you right now, R.J. Williams is wishing that Landon Huffman would get as loose as he was earlier because R.J. Williams was running away. Now R.J. Williams is just kind of maintaining a gap. He can't quite close a whole lot of ground on Landon Huffman. Is Dwayne Vincent also not leaving this group either. So it's like a 3-car train up front, but they're not closed up. So, I mean, R.J. Williams is kind of out of it right now. I think it's whoever's up front has got the car to beat, I guess.
Absolutely, and you can kind of see all these guys, Landon, RJ, Dwayne, the top 3 all running 32.4s, pretty respectively close to each other's lap times. As you see Huffman again 32.4, RJ 32.4, and Dwayne Vincent sneaking above a 32.5 there. But RJ Williams about 4 car lengths, we'll call it, over half a second behind Landon Huffman, race leader. 94 laps complete this time by, will be 95. About 16 laps to go. When we return, we hope to see the last 16 laps under caution. Landon Huffman leads at Kentucky Motor Speedway in the Real Sim Racing Full Throttle Cup Series Chase Race number 6. When we return, green flag again from Kentucky Motor Speedway.
Checking up, go low, come on low, come on low, come on low, come on low, 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 low. Michael Conti comes up at a corner number 4 to the checkered flag. He wins his first NASCAR high racing.
Alright, we're back live here at ETV Kentucky Motor Speedway, where things are starting to get a little interesting from the 4th place on back to about 9th, as Guy Snyder under fire by the Rhinestone Cowboy Glenn Campbell and that Penske 44 machine there that you see on the ETV screen. Ronnie Potts also in the mix, Abbott's in the mix, and Brian Hartford and Kel Dresbach, who's fell all the way back to 9th to Dakota.
Yeah, just 11 laps remaining. It can be 10 when the leaders cross the line, which is about to happen because the leaders quite a way ahead of that little group we were talking about. And Landon Huffman has actually pulled away a little bit from RJ Williams by about a second. He's gained about 4/10 in the last few laps. So Landon Huffman set sail and RJ Williams falling off the pace just a little bit.
Yeah, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd are in their own world out there. They're running about a second and a half from each other, but the real battle is back here for 4th. Guy Snyder's leading the charge. 5th is Glenn Campbell and Ronnie Potts and John Abbott and Brian Hartford and Kel Dresbach.
And Ronnie Potts almost dived into the inside there of Glenn Campbell and not able to do it. Almost gets in a wreck there, has to back out to the outside lane and is actually now working traffic. Working next to, I cannot tell who that is. I believe it's John Abbott.
Yeah, John Abbott in that stroker Aces Dodge Charger there, the light blue paint scheme that you see on the racetrack right now. He's in 6th position, battling Ronnie Potts, and he can get a top 5, and John desperately needs a top 5. He's one of those drivers in the points chase right now that is on the bubble, if you will, but it's not going to help if Landon Huffman wins this thing and he's out front. Dakota?
Will not help at all. As Landon Huffman is always doing good. Besides last week, I think last week was probably one of his worst weeks in a while. So Landon Huffman again doing what he's done most of the chase, leading.
Absolutely. Again, we see John Abbott to the outside. Ronnie Potts took over the 7th place position for a minute, but Ronnie Potts said, hey, I want it back, and got underneath Abbott, and they're racing all 4 side by side to the line. John Abbott trying to get and hold on to 6th.
Able to do it at the line, but here comes Ronnie Potts coming into turn number 1, able to pull away just a little bit, maybe clear him, as he does clear him going through 1, but I believe Abbott's going to come back on the outside here, coming off of turn number 2.
Yeah, Abbott with a beautiful run to the outside, but just ahead, guys, Glenn Campbell underneath Guy Snyder. He's battling for 4th in turn 3. The 44 machine down low's got the position. Let's see if Guy Snyder pulls the old crossover. He does. He's back underneath the 44 as he collects some of Kentucky's wall in turn 4.
And we should have started counting who was getting the wall a little bit earlier, because I'm sure we'd be up to a high number count by now.
Well, these guys are just pushing the edge and pushing the envelope, and John Abbott almost pushed Ronnie Potts right out of the way. In turn 2, he snuck right on the back door, gave him just enough nudge to push Ronnie Potts a little bit further ahead of him. And then meanwhile, Guy Snyder took the position back over Glenn Campbell.
Keaton, are you sure we're on at Darlington? Because this is remind me a lot of like Darlington racing.
Yeah, the black stripe, the Darlington black stripe. Yeah, Kentucky's is actually, you know, one of those top tracks where you know, you got to take a piece of that wall with you because of the racing groove, I guess. You know, these guys are trying to get every inch, take up every inch of the track as possible coming out of each turn. As you see Campbell try to go back to the inside of Guy Snyder, but he shuts the door. Ronnie Potts is there. Abbott's there. Big battle again for 4th all the way back to 9th.
There's Guy Snyder in 4th position, leading them across the line with 4 laps to go.
Ronnie Potts sneaking the dodge underneath the 44 machine of Glenn Campbell, not going to be able to make it stick. The high line is the way to go here at Kentucky, as you see the 44 pull away.
Yeah, just like you said, Glenn Campbell sneaking away with 5th position. He's able to hold off that spot right now as Ronnie Potts moving, still trying to work that inside lane. Ronnie Potts is looking like he might have a car, maybe something for Guy Snyder up there, but I'm not quite sure that he'll have the time to get there as we cross the line with 3 laps to go.
Yeah, 3 laps to go, and John Abbott's got to be thinking, man, I really need to get up to 5th or 6th or something, because John Abbott's on the bubble. He's back there in points. He's midway back, and he needs a good finish. 7th's a good finish as he looks to go underneath Potts in 3. Can't quite put the move on. Wait a minute. Wow, John Abbott really put through the gas. Oh, and they touched Dakota in 3. But no harm, no foul. Again, Rubbins racing, and Abbott takes over the number 6 spot.
I just want to give a quick update on Chad Cole, who was back there somewhere in the 30s, now up to 23rd position, still showing 18 laps down.
And I believe that's the last spot that he can pick up. The guy ahead of him, Douglas Wyatt, is 10 laps down. So, and there's 2 laps to go on the racetrack.
Yes, sir. You're right. Watching here, it looks like we take the white flag here as Guy Snyder in 4th position, trying to hold off Glenn Campbell. I don't think Glenn's going to have anything for him this lap, but he'll have to pull something kind of magical out, see if he can do anything with him. As he does, he moves down just about a lane lower and gets a good run through the corner, but does he have enough speed through the straightaway to get underneath Guy Snyder? It looks like he does. He's going to come almost side by side, so he does get underneath Guy Snyder. Can Guy Snyder hold on? As for 4th position here, I believe this is probably one of the first racing spots on the track, as Guy Snyder comes home 4th with, I believe that is Glenn Campbell in 5th position, and I think Landon Huffman able to bring home the win. R.J. Williams 2nd, Dwayne Vincent in 3rd.
Wow, what a race and what a finish between John Abbott and Brian Hartford for 6th spot. Dakota at the line, coming out of 4. Hartford had the 6th spot from Abbott, but Abbott had a really good run coming off 4. The 01 kept it low, the 10 kept it high. They come across the line, and Abbott barely gets 6. I'm talking about, what is that, 0.003 seconds over Hartford for 6th.
It's not much of a gap at all, but I'll tell you what, as Landon Huffman burns down his tires and all that's left on him, we're going to go ahead, step away, take a commercial break, and we'll be right back with the post-race show.
Fans, it's time for those most famous words in motorsports. Drivers, start your engines!
All right, we're back, race fans. So, to what was an exciting turn of events for the race winner, Landon Huffman. 1 point down all the way back to 32nd position, worked the car all the way back up towards the front. Won this thing. Congratulations to him here at Kentucky Motor Speedway. But to start things off, Joshua Harbison's going to start his way over to Dwayne Vincent, who finished third. Josh?
Yeah, I'm down here with Dwayne Vincent. And Dwayne, man, you had a great race tonight. Started fourth, you finished third. The caution field race, but you kept it out front. Tell us about it.
Well, it wasn't a great race for me. I feel bad about taking Chad Cole out, man, and a couple of teammates got caught up in that as well, so I'm not too happy about that. I want to apologize to all those guys, but yeah, I stayed out when a caution came out and got track position back, so ended up third, but not too happy about it.
So how's it looking going into the next race in the season?
Martinsville is gonna be a little crazy, I think, man. Just gonna try to survive.
Well, everybody like to thank for tonight.
All my teammates, Red Ass Chassis Works, Raceskins.com, and say hello to my dad at home.
All right, well, I'm with Dwayne Vincent. He's the third place finisher, surviving tonight, and hopefully he can survive next weekend. I'm going to send it over to Dakota, who is with RJ Williams.
Yeah, RJ, who started, I do believe, 5th, was top of the board in practice, finished 2nd, and there was a moment in the race where we were actually pulling for him. I was pulling for him. He was my personal favorite to get it. RJ, the last run you had to work through traffic, and it seemed like you burned your tires up just trying to get the lane in there. What happened?
That's exactly what happened. I got a bad restart there and kind of had to work with Cole there, and then had to work around Dwayne and kind of use my stuff up. It looked like Landon was getting off the turns a lot better than I was, and I was trying to figure it out a lot better throughout the whole run. There at the end, I started catching them, but it wasn't enough to get up there to them and actually have time to work on them either.
And RJ, I know you finished first last week at Charlotte. You finished 2nd here tonight, but we go next week to that paperclip, the really short track in Martinsville. Do you have anything for that track, or is this going to be some track that's not very good to you?
Well, I planned on finishing first last week at Charlotte till that idiot decided that he's going to block and attempt to take out the leaders, which he accomplished. Bad race for me at Charlotte. 2nd here, paperclip. Landon's going to have us there. He had us there last time. I plan on finishing 2nd. I hope to at least run there. But still claw my way up. At least try to get 2nd in points. Chad's bad night kind of helped me out there. Guy finished not too far behind me, so I didn't gain too many points on him, but still clawing up there.
Alright, excuse me for that. Guy Snyder actually finished. I did not have the correct stats in front of me there. What happened when you went down pit road and you overshot your stall?
Yeah, Landon to me there. He's pushing me down pit road and kind of got me. I was thinking, okay, getting all really good, and just overshot a little bit and cost me 2 spots there on pit road. So that was my mistake. Just eat it, and had to make up that ground on the track, and that's what happened right there. Ended up finishing 2nd.
Well, who makes that for you, bud?
Well, I want to thank the ETV guys for sponsoring me, ETV Live Radio. Y'all check it out. Huffman Racing, all the guys down there, a lot of fun. Tried to run down Landon there, but didn't work too well for me. But good win for him, and can't wait to run Martinsville next week.
There you have it from RJ Williams, who started 5th, finished 2nd. We're going to move the mic up to Michael Keaton with your winner, Landon Huffman.
Well, what started out 1 week ago at Charlotte, Landon Huffman finishing 25th. It looked bad, but then Landon Huffman got some good news from iRacing. They said, hey, you want to join Pro Series? Landon said, sure. He joined Pro Series. Congratulations, Landon, on becoming a pro driver. He looks to compete for the DWC Series that'll start next year in 2013. So congratulations on that too, Landon, and congratulations on winning here tonight at Kentucky Motor Speedway.
Well, thanks for the congrats on the Pro Series. It's been a long road. I wish RJ would have been able to make a run at it with me there. I think he could have made it as well. But it's definitely an accomplishment, and hopefully I'll have some good runs in the Pro Series. I got a good group of guys I'm working with for that deal. But tonight's race was a lot of fun. Kind of put myself in the hole there towards the start, and Chad Cole pulled a quick one on me and pulled back out onto the racetrack, and I thought, okay, I'm just going to pull out with him, and got a black flag, sent me to the rear, and had to work my way back up through the pack. Really just kind of, trying to be patient with those guys. Then I took 2 tires there, and that really helped me out in track position. I was able to hold my own, so I got a caution and got 4 stickers on her, and got behind RJ there and couldn't run him down, and he was definitely faster than me on the longer run. But the longer I ran, there behind him, I started figuring it out, and then we had that caution. I beat him off pit road, and I knew that was my chance. And I didn't think he was going to be able to get back to me whether he was second or not, because longer I ran, the better I got towards the end. I started figuring out the line. I started using more of the bottom of the racetrack. I was getting in about where I was, but I was getting it down lower, and it was really making the car turn, and I was able to get up off the corner. I don't think it was RJ used his stuff up. I just think I figured it out a little better than him there at the end. But all in all, it was fun, and I had a blast.
Well, Landon, next week we go to Martinsville, which is one of those tracks that reminds me of Talladega and Daytona. And what I mean by that, it's a toss-up because Martinsville is just one of those tracks where you can have a great set, you can qualify first, but it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to win the thing. So tell us about your approach to Martinsville. Are you going to try to get the pole? Are you going to try to hang out in the back? What's your game plan, if you don't mind telling us a little early here?
Last time we went to Martinsville, sat on the pole, and ended up winning that race. I think that's my approach going into next week, is just try to be one of those top qualifiers. I think I have a pretty good shot at it, and I really like Martinsville. I've always ran good there, along with all the other short tracks, but it's kind of like my bread and butter, I guess you could say. But I think I'll be good. I think the key is going to be stay out front and stay out of trouble, because there's obviously going to be carnage. It's Martinsville, so just got to be smart and make the right choices, and should be there at the end.
And lastly, Landon, I know you got some guys you'd like to thank, and of course too, the Pro Series run for sponsors in that, or sponsors that help you now, and teammates and stuff. So go ahead and give those guys a shout out.
First off, I'd like to thank ETV for broadcasting this series. Definitely gives another aspect of sim racing to us and to the people watching. But thanks to those guys, a lot of hard work put into it. And thanks to my sponsor, Sim Seats. Check them out, www.sim-seats.com. Help me out in the Pro Series, on the game in general and in real life. So cool guy owning it, cool seat, stable, and fun to run in. And then, of course, Bob Earl Racing Seats for sponsoring the series. Kind of got the best of both worlds, plugging 2 seats there. But yep, Bob Earl and just all the Huffman Racing guys. RJ, he's a blast to race with. Dwayne, Dwayne's not a Huffman Racing guy, but he's definitely fun to race with. And I think the competition in the series is getting better and better. But yeah, just thanks to all the guys at Huffman Racing for making it fun.
Thank you, Landon. There you have it, folks, from Landon Huffman, race winner here tonight at Kentucky Motor Speedway. Add 9 wins to his total here at RSR Real Sim Racing Full Throttle Cup Series. And next week at Martinsville, Dakota, Landon says that's his bread and butter. Let's see if the butter melts before the bread, before he can spread the butter on the bread. Last thoughts from Kentucky, Dakota.
Well, Kentucky is just about like I thought. Really, really bumpy and full of wrecks, just like usual. But I think tonight was made very interesting, especially with Chad Cole get taken out. I think the points was shaken up just a little bit. I have a feeling that we have a new second place in points, but maybe just a little too far out to do anything with Landon Huffman, unfortunately. But I'm excited to go to Martinsville next week. Like I said, it's usually full of wrecks, and it's something that a lot of people like to watch. And especially you said something about the bread, butter, and whatnot melting or whatnot. How about we just let the brake cords and whatnot melt, and we'll just see what happens there.
Yeah, I kind of messed that one up, but you know, I got to tease Landon a little bit and give him a hard time there. He's got a battle to defend. I mean, we're not done with this series yet. There's 4 races to go. Martinsville, and that's going to be the fun track. Last thoughts from you, Josh, on pit road. I know Martinsville is going to be real busy next week.
Yeah, I'm already prepping for Martinsville. I'm getting new notebook, new everything. But Kentucky was a fun race. It was nice to watch it, and I'm just looking forward to Martinsville and see how the points shake up.
Well, in fact, we just got an update from the points, and here it is, folks. Landon Huffman, points leader. He's gained 41 points over Guy Snyder, who sits second. Chad Cole third at 54 behind, tied with Mr. Williams of RJ, 54 points as well behind. John Abbott moves up to fifth, 85 points behind. Jay Horton sixth. Joseph Hayes seventh. Adam Roberts eighth. David Lanza ninth, and Doug Roth rounding out the top 10, 148 down. So from ETV and the crew here, we'll see you next week at Martinsville. Take care.